Hello, hello, hello. You know what this is. You're tuning into another episode of the Wunderkind Show. Hey, yo, today's topic. I know a lot of y'all heard about it, but I'm covering it now. Brandon Marshall. Look, hey, he said on his platform that this might be the greatest Ravens team ever assembled. And I disagree. Now look, hold on. Now check this out. I know where a lot of y'all are going. I know a lot of y'all are going to say, oh, well, I mean, the 2000 Ravens with the defense, but their offense was abysmal compared, you know what I'm saying, to what offenses are today. And then you look at the team that Joe Flacco won the Super Bowl with, you know. No, I'm not going none of those places. Do you know when I think the Ravens had their best overall unit in the history of the franchise? From top to bottom, barring injury, last season. Yes, last season. The 2021 Ravens, to me, was the greatest assembled Ravens team in the history of the Ravens. Top to bottom, barring injury. When you look at who we had at quarterback, we had Bateman, we had Hollywood Brown, right? We still had Duvernay, right? We still had Justin Tucker. We had J.K. Dobbins. We had Gus Edwards, right? Justice Hill was there. Like, think about this real quick. What doomed us last year, why we could not live to the fruition of the team, was injuries. Injuries. Yes. And guess what? We still had Justin Houston. Last year. A lot of people are not going to think about it like that. Last year was the greatest assembled Ravens season of all time. And it's not even close. When the only place on I would say on defense that we were weak were safety. Everywhere else we were middle of the pack or great on defense, right? And offense, especially when you look at who we had receiver. Hollywood Brown, and I'm saying if everybody's healthy, Hollywood Brown, Bateman, Duvernay, Prochet, that's the best wide receiving core we would have probably had in years. And Lamar, and when we're talking about quarterback, it's not even close. It's not even comparable. JK and Gus with Justice, especially this year, seeing what Justice can do. Yeah, and I bet you nobody's thought of that. Last year was the greatest assembled Raven team in the history of the Ravens. And a lot of people are going to be like, nah. But if you look over the roster, you're going to be like, nah, whoa, wait. Because think about it. The people that are going off this year, you know what I'm saying, were there last year. The only additions that we made, like Marcus Williams, I mean, he's amazing. Who else? A couple rookies like Isaiah Likely, the safety, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. But when you talk about top to bottom, last year's Ravens team was the best constructed Ravens team in the history of the franchise. Usually, with Ravens, it's so overwhelming, like, defense, right? And last year, didn't they have, what's his name that came in for a couple games? I forgot his name that went over to do great things. That I think went to go play for the Raiders or something like that. When you think about last year, bro, we had some dogs on that team. The problem was injury. And injury is such a fickle thing in the NFL, right? Because it can derail everything. In a blink of an eye, everything that you work hard for goes up in smoke. Because you can only sustain so much injury. The Ravens not only lost their 3 starting running backs, they lost their left tackle, their right tackle left. They were down on their center. Their quarterback was hurt. One of their second wide receiver was hurt. Their second tight end hurt. Like, it was, and we're not even going to talk about the secondary. So, keep it in perspective. Do I believe we can win the Super Bowl? Yes. We got Lamar, great defense in Lamar. Anything is possible. I just wanted it a little easier with some weapons around Lamar. And we're seeing, especially this Sunday, just how needed weapons are. Because they bail out quarterbacks. Hey! Great weapons. You know what I'm saying? Your margin of error just increases exponentially. Right? But literally, getting back on it, it's when you think about the greatest Raven teams, you're going to think about Ray Lewis. That's the first thing that comes to mind. But when you think about how dominating, how destructive that those defenses were, you have to look back at the offense and be like, right? Listen, the defense back then was so potent that they would tell the offense, all you need to do is score once. Hey! Yo! Imagine a defense so terrifying and so great. They're looking at the offense and being like, look, all you need to score is one touchdown and a field goal. We'll handle the rest. For an entire game. That's where even with Shannon Sharp, remember Shannon Sharp was our tight end for like 2 years or something like that, and he got a ring over here because Shannon Sharp has 3 rings. And that's why they called him, Big Play Shay, because they just needed one play. Usually he made it. He'd make a big catch to get him in the field goal range, or break or catch and run to get a touchdown. Yeah, because it was either that or just run the ball, and they made sure that they ran the ball. Our running back that year had how many yards? How much time they ran him? 300 and something times, bruh. We were eating clock, kicking field goals, and letting the defense maul you. Nobody liked playing Baltimore. But here's the thing. For as great as, like I said, that defense is, the offense was the opposite. And especially in today's NFL, how much could that defense hold down in today's NFL? And the answer is not a lot. The rules have changed everything. It's changed the way that you hit. It's changed the way you play defense. It's changed the way how you cover receivers. It's changed the way how you target against quarterbacks. You can only hit the quarterback in like this much space. You can't hit him too high. You can't hit him too low. You can only hit him about this much spots. You can't hit Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen there. Every other, Lamar can get hit anywhere. He's been picked up, hit at his knees, everything. Them referees be like, oh, you're okay. Suck it up, buddy. But last year, that team, if you do not believe me, hold up this year's roster, hold up last year's roster, and think about it, especially offensively. And I'm saying barring injury, because a healthy Ronnie Stanley shores up that line, right? Shores up that line. And the wide receivers would have been, with Bateman and Hollywood, I forgot about Sammy Watkins. Yeah. So for me, in my opinion, last year was it. It's just that we caught the injury bug. And like I said, I don't care how talented your team is. I don't care how much depth your team has. I don't care how talented those depth pieces are. You're going to run out if that injury bug hits you. And that's what happened to us last year. But he literally said that, this year's the best, Ravens team. He got them going to the Super Bowl. Mind you, I have them going to the Super Bowl this year. I picked it from the offseason. I said, Lamar's gotten older. There's certain things, even if he's not playing like, oh my God, it's, he has the guardian number. She's getting the wins. He's making sure he's winning when he has to win. Pulling games out. Now, have we had 3 bad losses? Yes. But mind you, we've been up every single game. I think that's why he's saying that. Because when you look at a team and say we've been up double digits on every team, that's the Bills, that's Miami, And we've seen how potent Miami is. That offense is ridiculous. Jalen Waddle is nice. Stupid nice. And we're not even going to listen. Tyreek Hill is an aberration. He is. It's not even fair how fast he moves and how well he moves. And even at his diminutive size, he plays like he's 6'1", 6'2". He goes up for balls, he makes contested catches. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, to me, he's the best weapon and receiver in the game. I said this before, and a lot of people were saying Devontae Adams, and I said no. Devontae Adams is nice. He's a number one receiver. He's one of the top 3 receiver in the game. But Tyreek changes out what you could do on the field. If Tyreek goes this way, everybody has to go this way. If Tyreek goes that way, everybody has to go that way. If Tyreek's in the backfield, everybody's eyes are in the backfield. Unstoppable, unguardable, just absolutely a monster. Ugh, man. I mean, Jesus. But, and listen, when Brandon Marshall said that this year's the best, he said it's not even close. No, bro. Nah, bro. Nah. Last year was. Last year. And here's the thing. Because of how it ended, especially losing every game when Lamar went down, there's such a bad taste in people's mouth regarding last year. So a lot of people aren't going to look into it. You're not going to have a lot of people say, oh, that's the team, you know what I'm saying, yada, yada, you know what I'm saying? But when you look at it from a generalistic standpoint and say, barring injury, what's the best Ravens team ever? It's last year. Tyus was still here. The only person that wasn't there was Ajabo, and guess what? He hasn't played yet. Hey, so you know what I mean. Like I said, when you look at the team construction, my problem and everyone's problem has always been that is they haven't went all in wide receiver. Especially when you get to see these other highlight inspiring wide receivers making gaudy catches, having gaudy numbers, bailing out their QB, breaking the game open with open field misses for for the tackle and everything else. And you just wonder what could be with a player like Lamar. Because I keep saying this, the more weapons you give a quarterback, the better he's going to be. Lamar was on a torrid pace last year. Torrid. I want to remind everybody, he was on pace for about almost 5,000 passing yards. I think it was like 4,800 passing yards and like 1,300 rushing yards. He was on pace for it was well over 6,000 yards. Well, like, that's crazy. That was last year. Think about this real quick. Sammy Watkins, Bateman, and Hollywood Brown. Name one other wide receiving core that we had that's been close to that. You're not going to be able to. Healthy? You're not going to be able to. Healthy is the operative word. With Mark Andrews. With J.K. Dobbins. With Gus Edwards. Jesus God. Jesus! Listen, I'm dead serious with you. If we weren't hurt last year, if everyone was healthy, that's what the other teams would have been screaming. They would have found Christ really quickly. Because at the end of the game, when it's up 48 to 10, they'd be like, Jesus, help! Forgive me for my sins, please. They would have to. Yo, bruh. Look, man. Listen, I like how people are looking back. You know what I like topics like this? Because it makes you go back to the history of the Ravens. A lot of Raven fans just became Raven fans, so it forces them to ingratiate themselves with the history of the team. And I'll always be behind that. Stuff like this, that's what it makes you do. It makes you go back and look at those teams, top and bottom. But this shouldn't be a debate. Top to bottom, last year, was the greatest assembled Ravens team we ever had, and we never got to see them to their full potential because everybody was hurt. The only person that wasn't hurt was Hollywood and Mark Andrews. Everyone else was hurt. Sammy Watkins hurt. Bateman hurt. The whole offensive line hurt. All the running backs hurt. All the cornerbacks hurt. I'm not making this up. Tyus Bowser hurt. Everybody got hurt. Listen, think about this real quick. There are 11 people on both sides of the ball, right? Right? How much of our starting unit, think about that, out of the 11 people was hurt? Lamar Jackson, J.K. Dobbins, Rodney Stanley, Patrick McCarry, I think, was hurt for some, right? Boyle. Who else would you say? Sammy Watkins. More than half of your starting unit was out for more than 4 or 5 games each. What do you do with that? Hey, and then secondary pieces were getting hurt. But I know it's going to make people be like, nah, Nitro, no, please. Before you flame and go into the comments, please do some research. Just don't be like, no, Nitro, no, 2000's the greatest. I'm about to flame you. Research. Research. Just calm it down, do a little research, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be like, wow, that's a good point. Injury derailed us last year. Last year, we were supposed to win the Super Bowl. We had the weapons. They had somewhat of the protection, even though I wouldn't have liked to have gotten rid of Zeus before, you know what I mean? But last year the injuries did us in, and that's kind of been what's been happening to us. COVID took it out of us the year previous to that, 2020, and then full-on just injuries just derailed us the year after. So we've had it hard as a team. It's just that, for the most part, Lamar and some of those other players have found ways to win. Justin Tucker and Lamar have been absolutely amazing. And we're so blessed to have them on this team. And I'm not going to lie to you, I couldn't picture this team without either of those two, because those two have won us so many games. So many games. But last year, they got the crown. So that's another episode of the Wunderkind Show. You can be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. I really do, guys. I really do. Please remember, like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, and I'm out of here. So if I'm out of here, that means you got to be out of here too. So that's Nitro signing off with another episode of the Wunderkind Show, and you know my slogan. Peace. And I'm out. Go Ravens. Yerp.